what I wanted to put out into the world was queer joy, was like the idea that we're allowed to exist, we're allowed to have sex, we're allowed to be in love, we're allowed to live.
Heated Rivalry has taken over our life. If you're not yet watching, be it on Crave TV or HBO, do it. We love it. Joining us now is the creator, writer, and director of Heated Rivalry. You also know him from Letterkenny and Shoresy, the great Jacob Tierney. Jacob, why are you here?
I don't know. You tell me. What am I doing here?
Why did you say yes? Why did I just DM'd you and said, like,
I
come on,
lost.
King, and you said yes.
I got lost on the way to a different podcast, and I parked my car in this lot. So, but now that I'm here, let's make the best of it.
The last thing that we saw you on as we were preparing for this was CNN. You're on CNN, and now you're doing our show.
Listen, I don't get it either. No one's in charge of this. This is just a series of random occurrences. No, I'm thrilled to be here. I made a hockey show, kind of, and so you guys are a hockey podcast. Let's talk hockey.
I do love that you said that, like, this has escaped a little bit. Like, I've seen a lot of escaping containment discourse around Heated Rivalry, and that has been very fun to witness.
Yeah. Listen, it's pretty shocking. I don't think any of us, you try to make a good show and you hope that people are going to watch it. And I don't think any of us expected this level of reaction. It's very, very nice.
And I mean, I was listening to you on another podcast and taking notes, and I learned, because I'd seen people tweeting at us being like, you would not think these two would be so good at breaking down MM, blah, and I was like, I don't know what MM is, but then I heard you talking about it on a podcast, and it's male romance novels.
Romance.
Yeah, typically you said written by and for women, and I was like, okay, like, kind of makes sense, and then we were talking about it before we did this, and we were like, the target audience has become absolutely everybody, and obviously, like, the romance novels and smut, whatever you want to call it, is like $1 billion a year industry. So people are going to it, but this is so not pigeonholed. And I think a lot of people might have looked at it from 1,000 miles away and said it would be. Why isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's kind of a mystery to me too. When we were trying to sell the show in the first place, when we were trying to then sell it after we'd made it, like, we had a lot of people be like, hockey doesn't travel. And we were like, well, it's a hockey show in the sense that it's a romance show and hockey is their workplace. You know what I mean? Like, we were like, this is not a documentary about hockey. But also, I think what people weren't realizing is that hockey romances are insanely popular, like way outpacing the popularity of hockey itself, particularly in countries like America. I mean, the first country we sold this show to was Australia, which should show you that, like, hockey wasn't really the deciding factor there. Like, I don't think hockey really blips on their radar either. And I don't, like, people ask me this all the time, but I don't know what the answer is. I don't know why the show or why this genre has kind of caught the way that it has. I'm just very grateful to be here. That's all.
Did you think that the hockey world, and I have follow-ups about, like, if the NHL's interacted with it at all, but did you think that the hockey world would be as into it as it is?
No, I kind of thought they'd be pissed. Like, I mean, and so did, not to be indiscreet, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but when we got greenlit, we're a Bell Media show, and they were like, FYI, we love this show. We have a very important relationship with the NHL. We don't. And we were like, look, what I would say is that Rachel Reid, who wrote the book, and me, we're both huge hockey fans. Like, this is, I think we both acknowledge that there are problematic things about hockey culture. There's problematic things about sports culture in general, obviously. But we come from a place of love with it. It's a celebration of hockey. We love hockey, specifically the Habs, but that's just because we have very good taste. And but, like, I think it would actually hit that line of reaching people that way. Like, I did not, if I'm being perfectly honest.
So has there been any sort of response from the NHL? Like, we haven't done, we get a lot of people in our mentions and stuff being like, find out which players are watching Heated Rivalry, find out this or that or whatever. And I'm like, we haven't done that. We don't know who's watching it, but, like, they definitely know it exists. So has there been any sort of like acknowledgement from the league, and are
I
you
mean,
cool if there isn't?
I'm cool if there isn't. I didn't Francois Arnault's going to the Pride game in Montreal tonight, and he was invited by the NHL. So, there's some acknowledgement. I think the Habs might be a special organization in that way because it's a show that's in Montreal and all that other stuff. But there's been no official reach out, although I don't know how there would be either. But we certainly haven't gotten. I was kind of anticipating a bit more, I don't know, like a bit more of a how dare you kind of reaction from at least from fans, and we really haven't. Or at least I haven't seen any of that, which I'm quite happy for. I think that there's a sense that, which is insane, that this is like expanding hockey somehow, which is great. Like, God bless.
Do you have any sort of relationship with Sean Avery? Because he came out this week saying that he loves the show, and I know he's been on Shoresy. Like, what? Do you have any relationship with him?
No.
Okay, all right.
They'll bill us the better. He's probably going to do something. He's probably going to pull some shit on you anyway.
That honestly might be the right answer.
Listen, I don't have any particular interest in that. He's been on Shoresy since I left, so I don't know him. Maybe he's a really nice guy. I don't know.
Yeah, we described him as a problematic ally because it seems like he bullies everybody except the gay community. So
yeah, I think he's the word opportunist available to us to describe him. I think that might be more it. But yeah, he likes to be quoted.
Sure does. On the subject of reaction to the show, one thing that has kind of stood out to us that we found funny is obviously everything that's good is going to have passionate fans. I did not foresee, and I don't even know if you've observed this, fans of the show kind of pitting the episodes against each other, which there's we can't like episode 3 too much because we're Shane and Ilya people. And we're like, I fucking love Shane and Ilya. I think the first thing I DM'd you was like, this Hayden character. They better not be an asshole because I like Hayden. And you said oh no, you're in the clear with Hayden.
You're very in the clear. Hayden is the golden retriever of the show. He's a very good guy.
That's what he's trying. I mean, we were talking about potential homophobia with where if a player came out, and we were saying that in real life, it's not 100%, but I think that there are enough guys throughout the league in each room that just really don't have much of an appetite for that type of culture anymore, where I think that on any team, if a player came out, there would be a leader who would kind of keep the environment good. And I gave the example of Hayden. I was like, I don't know this guy's name, but the guy who invited him to dinner, you think that fucking idiot in endearing is going to be a hateful homophobe? No shot. But anyway,
even Carter in episode 3, who's talking to the 2 closeted gay players in front of him, and who's like, it takes such balls to come to Russia and be a figure skater. What I described. Remember, I was talking when we were talking about that scene with Colton, the actor. I was like, the energy I want from you is like, my sister's a lesbian. It's like you're there's that kind of vibe of I grew up not tolerating this kind of thing, and big, I have a gay sibling energy.
Well, tell us about episode 3 though, because that is one of the best episodes of television I've seen this year. And I don't say that to knock episodes 1 and 2, although I did enjoy getting jokes off about how episode 1 is sex and time jumps. You're either seeing naked bodies or X amount of months or years later. Fair. And what really hooked me was the end of episode 2, the "we didn't even kiss" text. That was where my girlfriend and I were like, how do we have to wait for another episode now? And then we get episode 3, which gives us everything that, I'm not saying that one type of relationship is better than the other, but all of the love that isn't allowed to be shown in episodes 1 and 2, we get in episode 3, and it just feels so good. So is there a right or wrong way to enjoy this show?
No. No. And I think that once you see the whole show together, once all 6 are out, I think you'll see why 3 is the way it is and what is going to happen with that relationship. But I mean, in terms of the way that I wrote it and the way that I structured it, like episode 3 is book 1 in the series, and we're doing book 2. Heated Rivalry is the second book. So Scott's story is actually the first book in the series. And the way that it works in the books is that what Scott does has a trickle down effect to every other story. So I wanted to tell his story. And the truth is his story is way more like a rom-com. His story is like there's a meet cute. There's like the stakes are really clear and they have a really sweet beginning of their relationship. And Kip has a group of friends. And like, that's part of the other thing. I'm like, people being like, these guys don't seem to have a lot of friends. And I'm like, they don't. Like they don't, they are quite isolated. They are quite alone. And I think that putting Kip forward like that is a way of showing you like, look, Scott doesn't have any friends either. Like these guys have teammates. They work. I mean, I don't know a ton of hockey players that well. What I do know is their schedule is insane. They never stop working. They are always training. Their season is incredibly long. And they do kind of live these isolated lives in a way. They don't have a huge social circle around them, especially when they're playing in cities they're not from and they get traded a lot and they're they pick up and go all the time. But I think that episode 3 is designed to provide you with like a bit of relief from what is a much more complicated relationship in Shane and Elliot, where this is supposed to take place over a lot of years. And it's about two guys that meet when they're too young to understand how they feel about each other too. So they just start fucking and they don't really know what to do with their feelings. Whereas Scott and Kip are much different at a different point in their lives where they're like, oh, I get this. I love this person, and that part is easier for them. But I think you'll see by the time the show's done that put it all together into not like a neat pot, but like, yeah, it'll all tie together.
I feel like the structure of episode 3, like the meet cute and rom-com, like traditional rom-com storyline, that structure exists a lot more in media. Like how much sleep did you lose over some of the decisions that you had to make in the first couple of episodes in the way that it's structured? You mentioned how much time there is to cover, how much ground there is, how difficult the beginnings of that relationship between Ilya and Shane is because of like, they don't get to see each other a lot and the time jumps. Like, How much sleep did you lose over the decisions that you had to make to set that relationship up?
It wasn't that I lost sleep so much as like I had to do a lot of convincing because like people really liked the first 2 scripts and then they read the third and they were like, why can't the whole show be this? And I was like, because that's not sustainable for 6 1-hours. Like it won't feel cute if you keep watching that happen. They can only meet so many times. They can only have this conversation so many times. And that's partly why the Shane and Ilya relationship is the one that is the interesting one to dive into in a TV show, is because it is more complicated and it is the barriers in front of them are more mutual in a way, right? Where it's like, basically in 3, it's like, well, if Scott comes out, this all goes away. So how long can you delay this issue here? And how many kind of barriers can you put up in front of this relationship until you're like, this is boring, like enough, dude, shit or get off the pot, right? Like, what are we doing here? So it was an interesting thing. And then I knew in my heart, I was like, what's so funny about people loving this third script so much is that when this airs, I think we'd get, and we did, this kind of divided opinion of people being like, either they love Scott and Kip and they are like, why don't we have 6 episodes of this? Or they're like, where the fuck is my Shane and Ilya? Give it to me now. And that's the fun, but that's the crazy thing about having an old school show that drops once a week is it gives people so much time to argue over what happened in just that episode. Whereas like, I think if we dropped all 6 at once, it would feel different, but this is great.
Episode 3 really did help me appreciate the first 2 episodes a little bit more, even though I liked them when they first came out. Like the juxtaposition of the presentation of 2 very, very different relationships and kind of how they manifest each other, really like that to me kind of elevated the show even more because it's like, okay, we're getting a look at 2 very, very different things that exist in the same world. And it like rising tides lift all ships. And I really enjoyed both relationships because they're juxtaposed against one another.
Well, good. I mean, great. That's the idea. Like, I hope so, and I do think that as you know, as the episodes continue to air and as you see more of the story, you'll see like you'll just feel why it's also important to. I mean, I don't know. There's so many things that were important to me about 3. It was so important for an episode to take place not from the point of view of a rich NHL player, too, of being like, most queer people don't live these lives. Like Kip is a guy who's making ends meet and trying to get into grad school, I think is a much more relatable kind of situation. And
He's got to stop spending money on gym memberships.
Well, I mean, look. Also, if you don't know, I've read this a couple of times too, and I was like, have you met many gay baristas? Like, yeah, they have a gym membership, bro. Like, don't worry about it. This is it's not that insane that he would have that body. That being said, also, this is a fantasy. This is this is a romance. Like, I don't think if if the guys weren't hot, people would be mad at me for that too.
Well, are we allowed to cancel the casting, whoever's in charge of casting, for just only hiring absolute 10 out of 10s? Because it's getting fucking ridiculous.
My wonderful casting director, Jenny Lewis, I think would not be thrilled by that when she understood that to be her assignment. She was like, I found you beautiful people and you picked the 4 you liked. And I was like, that is fair. That is what you did.
Amazing. No one's in trouble. I'm definitely making the quote graphic from this. It's not that insane he would have that body. Jacob Tierney on Kip.
It's not. The gay community, we're crazy. Like the level of body dysmorphia is nuts. So yeah, welcome to it.
Damn, well, I guess that's kind of a good thing coming from something horrible. I want to hit on something that our producer Sean brought up because we were gushing about Kip's dad, just a great figure in this show who wasn't in it long, but maybe we see more of him. And our producer Sean brought up that a lot of depictions of gay stories, maybe because they're written by not always gay people, will have like a spray of sorrow on it to just always make sure like, but there's someone saying that this is bad. And there's a quote from you on a podcast that I heard. You said, to endlessly tell one story like that, I don't think is good for the psyche. How much did doing a show that's more positive than negative about the gay experience appeal to you?
That's the whole appeal. Like, that's why I made it. Like, this is like what I wanted to put out into the world was queer joy, was like the idea that we're allowed to exist, we're allowed to have sex, we're allowed to be in love, we're allowed to live. And of course, while acknowledging the world is not perfect, and, obviously professional sports aren't either, but neither is the rest of it. Like, it's not like, the sports world is that different than the rest of the world. There's loads of places where there's rampant still homophobia. Is it easy to come out? No, it's still not. That's true too. Like for a lot of people in a lot of walks of life, you don't have to be trying to be a professional athlete to find reasons to be like, it would be better for me to hold this inside. But I meant what I said, and that like, if all we tell are stories of misery, even though a lot of us are traumatized, and that's fair, like there is trauma, but if that's the only way that our experience manifests itself into art that others consume, then we're reinforcing that. We're kind of building in on that, this kind of punishment, this kind of miserable marriage, this kind of everything ends in AIDS, this like, and we are a scarred and marked people that way. But there are other things we can do and we can tell. And that's why I like unabashedly, I'm like, these are Harlequin romances, baby. This is a romance. There's a happy ending. I don't want you to be under any misunderstanding or misapprehension about this. Like, we want this to be as joyful an experience as possible. And of course, it's a romance, so there are trials and tribulations. Otherwise, there would literally be no story. But like the idea is that the road we're going is a road towards happiness.
Another part of that, and this is a difficult and awkward thing to bring up, but I think that a lot of time, like definitely with black art, this happens with gay art, where there will be some sort of expectation of, okay, well then, like, what statement is it making? What's it going to say? And there's been some reaction to this of like, could this get a gay professional hockey player to come out, and how great that would be? And of course, that would be great. But how do you feel about your art kind of being used as that, when I'm sure you're like, I would love everybody to be able to be who they are and to not have a million Scott Hunters out there, but also that's such a delicate thing and you don't want to put any pressure on anybody.
No, this is not about putting pressure on anyone. That's not the idea here. Look, if we can, I think that what I would say is ultimately, I think what matters is like you're putting something out into the world that is positive. If something positive comes out of that, that's amazing. Like if this, like this is not an after school special, and this is not a fucking TED talk, right? So this is just a show. And if it's a show that somebody watches and they're like, I don't know, maybe I could do this too. Mwah, chef's kiss, amazing. And if it just expands the audience, if it just expands the hockey world into being like, oh, this feels safer, this feels more inclusive, this feels like it's not just, a bunch of, that would be great. But again, there is no overt political agenda to this show beyond the fact that its mere existence is political, right? The mere existence of a queer hockey show is like it's a bit of a holy shit. Beyond that, all we could do is make a good show, tell an honest story, and make it fun for people to watch and continue to pay attention to.
We got to get to the elephant in the room. I'm sorry, Pete. We have to get to the elephant in the room. There's only one part of this show that we don't like.
I know.
That is man.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, you don't like my podcast, The Man in the Crease.
Man in the Crease is trash, buddy. And if you want a good hockey podcast, I'm not telling you which one to pick, but
they exist.
They exist.
I had to make one up. Well, you're listen, that's my fault. Please don't blame the men who live in that crease. That's my fault if you don't like my shitty hockey podcast. That's fair. That's fine. Fucking also leave it alone.
Doesn't sound like something we would do. Is that your voice? Are you the podcaster?
No, those are two actual like TSN sports guys, one of whom I grew up with, Connor McKenna and Sean Starr, and they are great.
I love Connor McKenna.
That's Connor McKenna.
I did not recognize Connor McKenna's voice. I'm on Connor McKenna's show all the time. I love that guy.
I've known Connor McKenna since he was 5 years old.
I'm so sorry. He fucking sucks.
His podcast sucks.
He's so bad at it.
Stick to the radio, pal.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he just doesn't.
Bitches. You guys. I think it's pettiness. I think that's what it is. You're jealous.
Let's introduce a secondary podcast. Podcast Wars season 2.
Season 2. There's competing podcasts. One of whom is on Scott Hunter's side. One of whom is not. What about that?
Well, yeah. God fucking forbid we wait for a prolific NHL player, a captain of a team who is still not long in the tooth, to get through like 6 games before we're like, all right, let's start the episode with Scott Hunter sucks. Trent Frederick has 3 points all season, and we don't let anyone make fun of him because we're like, you know what? He's a good hockey player, and he's struggling right now.
Having a bad time.
He's having a bad. You think that he's fucking happy about it? We're not talking about it right now.
He didn't offer himself that contract.
But here's what I would say. I'm a Montrealer. I grew up in Montreal. So obviously I take, the Habs very seriously. But living where I do now in Toronto, the way people talk about these fucking players 3 games in, it's not that outlandish, right? It's like people love to jump down the throats of these star players. And like, as an outsider who's not a Leafs fan, sometimes I feel badly, which is very difficult for me, for the Leafs players to be like, no. Jesus, these guys really take a lot. They eat so much shit. And do they deserve it? It's hard to tell in the fog of war here because it's like the level of intensity, I think especially at the beginning of this season with Marner gone, there was like, these guys, they're getting, I would not want to be Willie Nylander in the first 2 weeks of this season,
They had the Blue Jays, though. The Blue Jays were
They're so fucking lucky they had the Blue Jays too to
people.
distract people from how shitty the Leafs are.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Bruins fan, so it does pain me a little bit that you're a Canadiens fan, but at least we can bond over the fact that we're not Leafs fans.
Talking to each other, you know what I mean? What are we going to do?
Do you go Youppi or Metal for Habs mascots?
What's the other option?
Metal? I don't know much about Metal.
Metal.
Okay, good. Then the answer is Youppi because my answer is Youppi.
I mean, listen, I'm old enough to know that I know who Youppi is. He's the Expos. And like when we adopted Youppi, I was like, this orphan needs a home. Like, he could have retired. Like, what are we talking about here? And the Habs are like the Catholic Church. They don't need a mascot. Like, they do enough work on their own. Like, I don't know if they need like an actual passion play following them around. That being said, Youppi's sweet and an idiot. Although I will admit, Philadelphia kind of ate our lunch with Youppi. Like, I mean, with what's his face? Who's that weirdo?
Gritty,
yeah.
That guy. That guy,
He's the best mascot in sports, basically.
that guy's like if UP did way too much LSD in high school, and I respect him for that.
Okay, so if you don't have us on as podcasters in season 2, which I won't.
I love threats. I'll just tell you, I love threats.
If you don't, no. So I was going to offer another option, but yeah, fuck it. If you don't fucking have us on, no. If you don't have us on as podcasters in season 2, could we at least play a Youpie or Gritty inspired mascot for one of the teams in season 2?
I'm gonna say yes.
Hell yeah.
That would fucking rock. And also, by the way, this all makes the point of like, we just had a Youpie conversation and you had a good, smart, salient take. That's what happens on this show. Man in the Crease is sitting there with spreadsheets being like,
10.5 seconds you heard of Man in the Crease, a podcast that you would probably listen to in real life.
No way, no chance. I'd listen to like 3 clips of Man in the Crease and be like, fuck these guys. They're not making hockey more fun.
yes.
I do have to ask for personal reasons, and you don't have to answer this if it's venturing into spoiler territory. But we fucking love Kip's dad. What is Kip's dad's relationship situation? Because we were told by our chat that both Kip's mom and dad are in the books, but we don't have a presence of another parent in the show with Kip so far.
I mean, spoilers out. I mean, like, you're not gonna meet Kip's mom. I didn't really address it. I had certain constraints that I had to deal with, and so Kip's mom is not in the show. That doesn't necessarily mean she doesn't exist, but she's not in the show. I'm sorry to say.
Can Pete play Kip's uncle?
No, I think that's fine and actually works because Kip's dad
uncle is a mascot with a podcast. I'm just trying to make sure I get all of your notes in at once here.
Yeah, season 2 is going to be really good. Definitely, they'll air all the episodes.
You think I have a pen? I'm going to just write this down. Nonsense.
Well, not to flash my credentials, but you and I have something in common. We're both writers. I edited the Heated Rivalry Wikipedia page the other day.
Thank you. You know what? I saw this clip of what you said, and you're correct. He's not. What was it? Hunter's not losing. He's just on a point. He's like,
it said they were on a lose. It said he was on a losing streak, and I was
you're right.
like,
They didn't talk about the team. You can't be on a losing streak as a player. You could be on a pointless streak. You can be
unless, like, I was saying, like, if he's a goalie, but those assholes on Man in the Crease were not saying anything about that. So I can only go with what those fucking dummies give us, which was that he wasn't scoring goals.
Okay. Erroneously reported via Man in the Crease.
That's what we need to do. We need to put out like infographics and like stuff that is wrong about like incorrect stuff about hockey. Like, did you know the Colorado Avalanche have lost 5 games in a row per Man in the Crease?
2 months in the crease.
Yes, and then people will be like, can't trust those guys.
If you ever get anything wrong, you could be like, we need to check our sources. Sorry, got that one from Man in the Crease.
Exactly.
There we go.
Can we just admit one thing though, that Man in the Crease is a really funny joke for a queer show with a
very good.
Yeah, we caught on to that very quickly and
kind of jealous we didn't think of it. Yeah,
I'm not trying to be subtle. I wasn't like, I hope nobody figures this out.
Yeah. In that vein, were the jerseys designed to look that way?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so. Just wanted to double check.
You should see the ones we didn't use. We invented a team called the Houston Drillers, and the first thing the art department sent us was just like an exploding. I was like, guys, that's a lot. Like, even for us, like, that's a lot.
That is incredible.
Have you seen what the Edmonton Oilers have been embracing?
No.
They have alternate uniforms that Pete hates, I tolerate. They're cream-colored uniforms, and their social media is posting, like, every time they win, they're like, all aboard the cream train, and they're just like leaning into all this cream stuff. And if it were Heated Rivalry, we'd be like, that fucker did that on purpose.
They're nailing it, yeah.
But we can't tell. In this case, on the subject of jerseys, how do you feel as a Canadian that the Team Canada uniforms in Heated Rivalry are way better than the Team Canada uniforms for the Olympics?
You know, it's so funny you say that, because when we were like, when Hannah, our costume designer, was designing them, she brought me like a few years of Olympic of the Canadian Olympic teams, and she was like, she held me up these pictures, and she was like, I can't make them look this bad. I was like, you're right. I was like, you don't have to. She was like, if I'm being real, they have to look horrible. And I was like, yeah, we can avoid horrible. And like, it's just Shane wearing one. I was like, no, you can make it nice. Yeah, listen, she did a very good job, and it is a bit baffling how ugly they've been over the years. I was like, when they're all, especially like when they're all presented to you like in a row, I was like, ooh. Right when you think you've seen the worst one, you're like, nope, 4 years later, we really outdid ourselves. How does this get fucking uglier every time?
We have a basically our show is very easy when there is a new episode of Heated Rivalry or if another country has unveiled their Olympic jersey, because we just put it next to the Canada ones. We put it next to all the other ones. And I mean, I've got a Four Nations Canada jersey.
Well, the Four Nations ones were good.
Yeah, I like those ones. Yeah.
So like
they've
they've done good ones, and all the Olympic ones for the other countries
Some
range
are
from
really
pretty
cool,
good
I agree.
to
Yeah.
awesome. And we're like I'm not a Canada hater. Obviously, I'm rooting for Team USA. I'm an American, but like every jersey that comes out makes Canada look worse.
Definitely.
Because they're the only ones that have bad ones.
Here's what I can promise you. If we get a season 2, we will go back to the Olympics or some international competition, and we will try to design new stuff and sell it to Canada. I don't even know what my plan is, but if I get a season 2, I will try to continue that tradition.
I just
As well
I
as
can't
the
stop
banana
thinking,
socks.
I can't stop thinking about
can
getting
buy
my
banana socks.
eyes or hands on a Houston Drillers jersey. Like, I need to see what that looks like, please.
I will
Please.
find, like, I don't even know if we ended up using it actually, but I will find a picture and I'll send it to you guys.
Yes, do. And it can be watermarked and everything so it doesn't get out. We'll still tweet it out and it'll be fucked. But I need to see it. Houston Drillers.
We also did divide up teams into tops and bottoms. So like the San Francisco Missions were also bottoms. The Metros are bottoms, obviously. And we had some fun with that. I was like, listen, if we can't have fun doing this, what are we fucking doing here? Like, what is
the Boston would be Boston or tops?
Raiders with that
because they're Raiders
balls on it? Like, yeah, that was a definite dick.
That's a little top forward.
A little top forward. Admirals too. Big old Eiffel. Not the Eiffel Tower. Fucking the Empire State Building. Yeah. It was either phallic or a version of a butt.
Something I meant to ask you, Connor Story and Hudson Williams, who play Ilya Rozanov and Shane Hollander, respectively. Respectively, I should say. They seem like an absolute barrel of monkeys. They seem like they are having a blast. Whether you're a gay person, straight person, whatever, like you watch that and that is dudes rock because it's two young men who are just laughing and fucking around the whole time. I don't mean to question their professionalism, but were there ever moments where like, okay, what's it like directing them? Because are you like, boys?
No, truthfully, their press tour has been amazing and they are so close and they have so much fun together and they trust each other so much, but they both work their fucking asses off on this show. This show was, for them especially, but I mean, kind of for everybody, it was really tiring, like we shot 6 episodes in a block. So like we did everything all at once, so like not one episode at a time. And I mean, they had so much hockey. They had to be naked so much. They were always working out. They were shooting 10, 12 pages a day. They learned those lines. Connor learned Russian. I mean, they were so focused. They were so on top of it. I was very, very lucky that they came to work as prepared as they did every single day. And listen, I've been doing this a long time. I love a happy set. I love a chill set. That means you still have to be focused. We still have to get our work done here. We only have so many hours in a day to accomplish this, but they were amazing. And I mean, I love seeing them have fun on press. I love seeing particularly Hudson being let off his leash. He's a madman.
I can't believe I haven't asked this yet. You're a Habs fan. Rachel Reid is a Habs fan as well. This is a massive point of contention on our show. Do you call it the Bell Center or do you call it Centre Bell?
Well, it depends if you're. I mean, I call it the Bell Center because I'm an Anglo. I call it the Bell Center because I'm an Anglo Montrealer. But like, you can call it the Centre Bell. You can call it whatever you want. If I'm speaking in French, I would call it the Centre Bell.
But you speak French, do you not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guess who doesn't speak French and decides to call it that?
Oh, calls it.
I just said Sondra Bell. I clearly speak some French.
You can tell this has gone on for a little bit now, and we disagree on this topic.
Look, I wish we still called it the Forum, but I'm happy to call it the Centre Bell for as long as it's, I don't know, as long as it's going to be called that. How long do naming rights actually last these days?
I mean, I think it's supposed to be, usually they lock into like 10-year
10
deals,
years or
something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still call crypto
Staples Center.
Staples Center, so some of them just last.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
I still call it the
Molson
Molson Center.
Crypto. Like, what are we doing, guys? There's got to be a kind of a moratorium. It's like, I guess banks and telecommunications are one thing, but like to me, the funniest one was is it still the TD Garden Center in Boston?
TD Garden, yeah.
Yeah.
The TD Garden, hilarious. The Toronto Dominion, in Boston.
I mean, we just call it the Garden, so
I know,
TD
but
doesn't get a lot of work there.
Like the fact that the naming rights to Boston's fucking hockey arena is named Toronto is like the government name. Your government name is Toronto Dominion. Like, what are we doing here? What's happening?
They got to try to own the Bruins in some sort of fashion. It hasn't worked in hockey, so.
No, that's what the Habs do.
How do you enjoy having to watch 4 periods every time you watch a Canadiens game? I mean, they typically win.
Ooh, I like the part where that ended. Yeah, I don't mind. I get more hockey out of it. I like watching a young team surge. It's great.
We've gotten so many people who have come from Heated Rivalry and then are like, okay, we want to know what you're talking about the rest of the time. So we're going to get into hockey. Which teams should we pick? And we gave the Canadiens as a team, and we said it's kind of rare that a team can be a playoff team, a team can win as much as the Canadiens have historically, yet right now it does not feel bandwagony to jump on them because it feels still like they're kind of at the start of something. Do you agree?
No, this feels legit. I mean, listen, I think we had our years in the wilderness and then that insane Stanley Cup run that was really fun to watch, but was crazy. But
I love that.
Yeah, it was that was such a fun year, man. Oh my God. But like, this is the first time since like the Saku Koivu era where I would be like, okay, we're legitimately fun. We're legitimately in the mix. I don't know if it's this year, but like, I think over the next few years, like this is a good foundation, man. And even more importantly, like we're just fun again because like the Brian Gionta years, that was like, those were brutal. Like no shade on him specifically, but like that team was a punishing, built to be the fucking 90s Devils of like, is it still 1-0 in the fucking third period? Like such boring fucking hockey to watch. And now it's fun again. And you can see that they have fun doing it. It's great. So it's nice to be a Habs fan right now because they're fun to watch.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you kind of hit all the nails on the head there. It's like they're young, they're fun, they're talented, but they're also kind of like drama queens and they're super entertaining and they like each other.
100%. And they also have like, boy, it's fun to see Marty St. Louis behind the bench. Like that's not like, I don't know if I'll ever really get over that thrill. Like Guy Carbonneau was amazing. And now, but like Marty, like, that's nice. That's nice. Because like we could never have him when we wanted him. So now at least we're getting a bit of that glory back, with the team. It's nice.
You didn't like the Michel Therrien days?
I don't know. Those old school guys, that's good. I don't no. I don't want to.
He seemed like he smoked cigarettes derogatory. And I was covering the Bruins at the time, so I had to deal with them a lot. And like whenever I asked a question in the press conference, it was like, "You are not like."
Oh no!
What
a
is
level
this
of
person?
Misery came out of that man, where you're like, I don't. Yeah, no, I was not. Those weren't.
Whereas
great.
like Draisaitl, there's a picture of Draisaitl. I don't know if you saw this summer at his wedding, smoking a cigarette, and it was amazing. And you're like, "That's the coolest fucking guy in the world." And
a lot of Ilya Rozanov energy coming out of that. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I forget who it was, but one of your actors, there's a picture on their Instagram of them smoking a cigarette. And I was like, okay, so there's see, it is based on the NHL. This guy's Leon Draisaitl.
I mean, listen, when I was a very young kid, like I remember Guy Lafleur fucking there might have been an ashtray on the bench back in those days, right? Like, I mean, he would literally go like, my shift? Great.
We used to live in a society.
Yeah. But
yeah,
also,
I mean,
that's Quebec too. Like that's where we're from. It's like, yeah.
I did a story a million years ago back when I was a writer that was like, why do they still do morning skates? Because they have the morning skate, which if you don't know is to the audience, it's like a short practice, 20 minutes long, the morning of a game where the guys just go out on the ice. It's non-contact, run a couple of drills, get off the ice, break a little sweat. And the reason it was invented was because back in the 70s, everybody was drinking and smoking all day. That if they had a game to play,
throw up now, not later.
Exactly, get it out now. Although now we live in a world where
Scott Hunter sprints down the street.
Scott Hunter's running fucking marathons the morning of game days. And as I was I heard because they were like, they got a game coming up tonight. And I was like, Scott Hunter, what are you doing?
Doing his own morning skate on the sidewalk.
Yeah, so it must have been an optional.
Well, if anyone's taking a therapy day, it's Scott Hunter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's no way that Scott Hunter's boozing hardcore the night before a game where he has to sweat.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't drink anymore. They don't smoke anymore.
They don't drink. No, they're not fun anymore. Like, I think it really is kind of the purview of the Russian players now to be the fun guys. Like, they're the ones. I mean, was there anything more glorious than watching that crazy Ovechkin take that cup? I mean, like the places that he got drunk with the Stanley Cup. Like, there's the Instagram account I want to see. But
no,
I think
he's eating like fettuccine Alfredo before every game, a Subway, flaming hot Cheetos. Like, I think we need like a character arc where Rozanoff just like loses all of his muscle and becomes this like fat guy.
I'm gonna be spoiler free, but in their second book, there is a big conflict between Shane and Ilya over the way they eat.
Oh, I'm into this.
I play whichever one gains the weight because I've already got the
sorry,
body.
I have to take this, guys. This has been super fun.
You're the greatest. In all seriousness, if there needs to be a rival podcast, or even doesn't need to be a rival podcast, we could be friends with Man in the Crease, but we just replace Man in the Crease.
I think that ship has sailed, you guys.
Yeah. There's too much tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you really.
Well, I still can't believe you did this, and it's so cool that you joined us.
I can't believe you guys. I've been talking about the show, and I'm so happy to be here. And I'll happily come back at the end of episode 6. We could talk about the whole show if you want.
Hell
yes, please, Jacob. Thank you so much. Be good.
Pleasure.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to What Chaos here on YouTube. You will get everything: daily episodes, player interviews, and so much more. It's all here on the What Chaos YouTube. Hit subscribe.